Once again, it must be sweet, because here it is. You got yours truly, Joe Budden, right back again, attacking Gillie when he said he didn't want no disrespect, but pointing out that they are the highest paid show, $1 million worth of game. Gillie and Wallow are the highest paid out of the podcasters on the internet. And that was just being factual. You know, they have the paperwork to back that up. Now, Joe Budden makes his money, but he is hurting in the department because of overhead. You see, that's what people don't really understand is how overhead works. And when you have issues such as when you have overhead issues and you have staff, you have all of these people that you are responsible for, things like your actual salary will be looked at and received differently than anyone else involved. And you might be going, why? Why would that be the case? That doesn't make any sense. And thank y'all for hitting the like button coming through the door and subscribing to the page. It all matters. That's why I'm saying thank you now, because I know how much it matters. But this is what gets me. It irks me because it insults my intelligence. Joe Budden podcast, and I'm not gonna mess around with you. They make some money. Seriously. Now, here's the kicker. The kicker is you see people such as Joe, all the weird landscapers now. They're out here getting busy. Get busy, y'all. Now, when you see people such as that, and they start rolling around in new cars and balling, that show is making money. You look at Joe. Does Joe look like he's starving? Joe ain't starving. Joe is doing better than he's ever been. But it's built up on the back of Rory and Maul. Period. Rory and Maul deserve their just due. They deserve their respect. They haven't gotten it, but they do deserve it. And they haven't received it. Oh, well, these dudes ain't been by. All right. Joe Budden podcasts make about 25 mil off the rip. That's how much it's probably worth. If somebody wanted to buy the whole show, it'd probably be worth about 25 mil. I'm serious. For this whole show, Joe makes about roughly I'm gonna go on a limb and say Joe Budden makes about $500,000 a month. That's what I'm saying. The show generates about 500,000 a month. Now, who's all getting the money? Well, that's what I'm talking about. Joe's making about 500. Did I say the show? I meant Joe. Joe's making about 500K a month. The show makes way more than that because everybody else got to get paid too. Now, they don't have advertisement. They don't have ads on their show. Mainly because Joe chose to be independent. And therefore, there's a lot of companies that just work with people such as Spotify or other streaming platforms. And the sponsors normally go over there than work with the independent. Joe is probably doing it with paid promotion. Like people are paying him based on, oh, thank you. They're sponsored in a different way. Certain people are financing the show and backing the show. But I'm telling you, Joe Budden is going to go back to Spotify. Or he's going to come back to the table eventually. He just wanted to be in a better position. Because as you can see, it's all about money with Joe. Joe act like he was a crusader for the cause, but he really wasn't. It was just a scam to get to where he is. Well, Rory and Maul helped build the show to where it is, and then they got none of the benefits. They just gave up huge amount of dollars. We're talking possible millions that they just let go. Just to say we don't need it, we'll just do our own show, which is cool. You could still done your own show, but that man owe you millions. You see, you guys were equity partners. So whatever was happening to the show, equity wise, you guys were supposed to get a piece of that. And you guys should, are supposedly allowed to see the books. Now, Gillie, he was very vicious. Gillie don't mess around when he speaks. When Gillie speaks, he gets real animated and everything else. So Joe Budden is trying to say, hey man, look at your house, look at my house. Look where I'm at, look where you're at. And I'm on this, you still fronting, you got a small window by your bed in your bedroom and all that. Like, don't do it. He's like, look, dog, you cannot, if you don't have any ads, you cannot talk money talk with me. We could have a paperwork party. Now they signed a $3 million deal, and everybody's like, "Oh man, they had a $3 million deal. That ain't worth nothing." They have major sponsors on their show that backs this show, so they're paid from sponsors and they're paid for their position in the space that they're in. And his platform is actually done quite well. So I can't really knock what they're doing as far as their performances, but as everything else in tow, this is like he says, this is sweeps. I mean, whenever they struggling and whatever they're not doing well, they need to start some controversy with somebody. Whether it's Cameron 1 week, this week it's back to Gillie. This is how you could tell people don't have any content or they don't have anything to discuss because they can't focus on what's happening in the world. Sorry about that. They're not focused on what's happening in the world. No, because things have changed. It's different. Gillie and Joe Budden has always been in this little competition thing where they all feel like somebody's better than the other. The Joe Budden podcast was put there, and that list was made by Complex. We all know his dog, it. Joe worked for Complex right along with academics. So anybody putting them on the list is trying to make them seem as important as they really aren't. Because nobody I know in existence even listens to academics, let alone treat him with any sort of respect. So if they getting anything, it was fake, just like they were faking the 6ix9ine traffic and all the millions of dollars 6ix9ine got and all of this. All of that paid blown promotion to unify. We are the only people who see conflict as the only way to generate revenue. No one else needs it. Everybody else can make their videos, but they have to conflict. We are the only ones that have to conflict with another. YouTube creators got to battle YouTube creators. Podcasters, now they're on the higher level. They got to get their money by going against each other. Where does that make sense? In this day and time, where does that make sense? It just don't. I get frustrated talking about it sometimes because it's so stupid. But that's the way the world wants you to be. And when you're not like that, they try to drag you in it and drag you into the mud. I'm gonna tell you like this. These people that's in the world right now that's doing this, they're doing it because this is the cycle they're in. Joe Budden, right? Domestic cases. Lost a child from a domestic situation. Then his excuse is she broke my laptop. Then you made songs about it. And then on top of that, you have multiple cases of abuse from other women. Then, on top of all of that, you go on to being a junkie and I just don't get it. You got Me Too and the Me Too case. I guess it doesn't mean anything now, but when you got Me Too, how are you still on the air? Hmm? This woman came out and you didn't even fight it. You're like, I'm sorry, I treated you that way. And that was that. No punishment for Joe. Meanwhile, that woman's out of a job and probably can't come back in the industry. And it was basically your behavior towards her which made her leave. So that's all I got to say about it. But those kind of guys stay around. Now, Gillie has done some super goofy stuff, which he pointed out is true. Since they got the money, he's been doing some goofy stuff, but he's been doing goofy stuff for a long time. But I ain't mad at it. It works for Gillie. Gillie's funny. He's got more personality than Joe. Joe whines and rants, and that's the secret of his success when he's complaining and whining. So, anyhow, I'm gonna get out of here because talking about this don't really even matter. I rather focus on stuff that matter. So, I'm out. Deuces.